What you're going to hear about today is nothing short of a miracle.
Oh, good morning. Let's do a little bit of math. Today's math lesson, we've gone away from doing the DMSB for a couple of days now. And I know this week is short. There's no school for you guys on Friday, but I want to get back into it so that tomorrow we can do a little heavier dose. So today we'll go back to just doing two of those problems. DMSB, divide, subtract, multiply, bring down. It's the basis for all the long division you'll do from here on out. So here's a refresher of an example of what we did on a previous lesson.
Here, because it's long division, the space we're going to need is going to go down the paper a bit, so I want to make sure we have plenty of room for that. Before I start, and I want you to do the same thing, we're going to do this for a bit here, I want to put a D M S B. DMSB on the top of your whiteboard or top of your paper, whatever you're using right now. I do want you to follow along with what I'm doing. I don't want you just to watch me do it. You need to be practicing this part with us. So the first one is divide, multiply, subtract, and then finally bring down. DMSB, divide, multiply, subtract, and then bring down. Okay, once we have that down on there, let's get a problem to work on. So I'm going to build my little house first. There he is. And on the inside, I'm going to put, let's say, 640. Let's just do 64. Let's try 64 to start with. I'll clean up this edge here. And then out here, I'm going to put a 5. And I'm going to start using, for the first couple days, I'm going to use some numbers out here that are easy to work with, 5s and 2s and 3s, because while it is totally okay and very much fine with me, if you start looking back in here for your facts, everything goes way quicker if you actually have those facts in your head. Like I said way early on, your math life gets way easier the day you finally memorize all those math facts. Okay, so the first question, D, divide. I asked myself, how many 5s can go into a 6 without going over? How many 5s can fit into a 6? Well, 5, 10, well, that's way too much. So 1. So I put a 1 right up on top. My dividing part's done for now. Move on to the next one. Multiply. Remember, sometimes I put a little tiny X there to remind myself. So multiply, the number I just put here, times this guy. 1 times 5 equals 5. And I put it right underneath there. Multiplying is done. Now, subtract. I'm going to subtract 5 from the 6. 6, take away 5, gets me 1. After subtracting, I bring down. So I go to the next number over. Here's a 4. He's waiting to come on into the game. Here he is. 14. So now this is where the action's at now, down here. All right, now I'm going to scoot just a little bit. I finished bringing down, and now there's nothing else to do but go back to the start. So now I start with divide again. This time I ask myself, how many 5s can fit into, not a 4, but fit into 14? Remember, this is where the action is. How many 5s into 14 without going over? Well, 5, 10, 15. Oh, 15 is close. 5, 10, so 2 without going over. So right above that 4, I put a 2. Done with my dividing, on to multiplying. This 2, not the 12, but the 2 times 5 equals 10. Put that underneath the 14. Finish multiplying, off to subtraction. Right underneath there, and subtract 14 from 10. 4 take away 0, 4. 1 take away 1, nothing. Oops, you can't see that. Now you can. 4 take away 0, 4. After I'm done with subtraction, I go to B, bring down. So I look up here, and there's nothing right there. That is how you know you are done. There's nothing there, you're done. So if I'm all done here, and there's a number hanging out down there, then he comes back up. He is the R4. So the answer for this, the quotient for this, is 12, R4. 12, remainder 4. I'm going to pause, not pause for a second, but I'm just going to tap my fingers as you get the rest rest of that written out. 5 went into 6 one time. 1 times 5 was 5. Then I subtracted. 6 take away 5 is 1. After subtracting, I bring down. 4 came down, I had 14. Then I start right from the top again. Divide. How many 5s go into 14 without going over? And that was 2. So I put a 2 up top. Then 2 times 5 made 10. 14 take away 10 is 4. That's my subtract. Then it's time to bring down. Nothing else to bring down. Then you know you're done for the day. 12, remainder 4. All right, if you're working whiteboard, you can erase. If you're working paper, don't worry about erasing, just get a new spot. I'll walk you through one more, and then I'll give you one to play around with. All right, I'm leaving my DMSB up there, and you need to as well. Here's the new one we're going to work on. I'll build my house. And then inside the house, I'm going to put 134. 1, 3, 4, big one. And then I'm going to put on the outside a 2. Like I said, I'm going to use good numbers out here so that it's easier for us to grab those facts. All right. So this is going to remind you of what we did last week. My first question for divide. How many 2s can go into a 1 without going over? Well, if this number is bigger than this one, then the answer is going to be 0. All right. So now, just to make sure I'm doing continuity-wise, now it's time to multiply. I'll put a little multiply. 0 times 2 is 0. Subtract 1. After subtracting is bringing down. Here it comes, little arrow. 13. And this is where the action is now. All right, back to the start. Divide again. How many 2s will go into 13 without going over? Well, let's find out. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Oh, that's too much. 7's too much. So 6 is about as close as I'm going to get. So I put a 6 up here. And now it's time to multiply. 6 times 2 gets me 12. Now it's time to subtract. 13 take away 12 is, that'll be 1, right? 3 take away 2 is 1. 1 take away 1, 0. I'm scooting up a little bit here. After subtracting is bringing down. Here comes that 4. So now here's where the action is. I'm going to go up just a little bit further. The letters will disappear, but you'll still have the symbols. All right, back to the start, dividing. 2, how many 2s will fit into 14 without going over? Well, we just got close last time, right? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 8, 14. That's 7. So 7 goes up here, right above that 4. Now I need to multiply. 7, the one I just put up, times 2, gets me, exactly 14. That's going to be nice for us. And then I subtract after that. 14, take away 14. No real thinking there, right? 0. After that, it's time for bring down, but there's nothing up here. I'm all done. So this is the remainder, which is nothing. I do not have to put R0. You don't have to do that. If there's no remainder, there's just no remainder. You just leave it be.
Okay, now that your brain has been refreshed, let's do these two problems. 86 divided by 5 and 47 divided by 3. If it takes, wait for the light to come back, okay. If it takes a little bit of time to, if it takes a little bit of room on your whiteboard, you can send in 2 separate pictures with those problems solved on it. That would be fantastic. Have a wonderful day.